of the profane at the vaunted association of Freemasonry with the Tower of Babel was entirely uncalled for, because every bit of historical evidence brought to light among the ruins of Borsippa, the ancient capital of Babylonia, indicated to the Masonic antiquarian the close relationship, association of the craft to that tower. And you will see on the murals in the new Temple of Initiation, erected in Las Vegas, known as the Luxor, which means the source of light, depictions of the Tower of Babel and the ancient order, the brotherhood, the builders associated with it, are all over the place. The Tower of Babel still exists as the ruins of the ancient Beers Nimrod at Borsippa, and you didn't even know it. This was the tower temple of Marduk, or Jupiter, and the king who abandoned this city to build a new capital and a more gorgeous temple to the sun god Baal at Bab-Elu, the gate of God, on the opposite or eastern bank of the Euphrates, was the great sage and lawgiver Hammurabi, the Amraphel of the Bible and reputed original author of the laws of Moses. The facts are these. One of the titles of the sun god Baal, which was widely adopted by Eastern monarchs of a later period, was Salmanusar, or Savior King. This was literally King Solomon, which is also the meaning of the Babylonian royal name Shalmaneser. The king was the servant of his God and the executor of his mandate in erecting a temple to the Most High. The name of the architect given in 2 Chronicles chapter 2, verses 12 and 13, who was sent to King Solomon by King Hiram of Tyre, one skillful to work in gold and silver, in copper, in iron, and in wood, in purple, in blue, and in fine linen, and in crimson, also to execute any manner of engraving and device, every kind of work of art which may be given him, was Churam, or Huram-Abi, which is self-evidently a mere alliteration of the Babylonian name Hammurabi, or Hammurabi, or Hiram-Abith. The fame of Hammurabi is just of the sort which would have made him the hero of countless legends for centuries to come, and indeed, that is exactly what has happened. You see, his name is a Kabbalistic one, connecting him with the Babylonian god Nebo, whose Hebrew name is Raphael, both meaning the planet Mercury, the closest satellite and constant companion of the sun, whom the ancients considered the executor of all the latter's mandates. Mercury's color, the blue of heaven, is that of the Masonic order. The precepts of Hammurabi concerning the habit of daily prayer in the temple, the protection of females, the humane treatment and just wages of laborers and artisans, and the relief of widows and orphans are all of a truly Masonic character. It is the font from which socialism sprung. The very best Babylonian representation of Hammurabi is on a stele in the British Museum, containing a transcript of his code of laws, and on which he is shown receiving them from the sun god Shamash, King Sal-Am-On, the edge of whose robe is an angle of 66.5 degrees, or the inclination at which the Earth's axis crosses the plane of elliptic. To a Freemason, folks, there is much meaning in this statue of Hammurabi. Geometrical analysis of Rawlinson's architectural reconstruction of Babel's famous tower from actual measurements of the ruins shows that it was one of those vast puzzles in which the ancient seers absolutely delighted. the squares of its elevations being evenly divisible by a vast variety of the cosmic proportions perceived to be those employed by the great architect and geometer in the construction of his universe and foreshadowing the destiny of man. The names of the materials in which the great artist who built King Solomon's temple was to work were not merely those of material colors or substances, but the symbols of the 7 planets and 4 elements, earth, air, fire, and water, which play an equally prominent part in the mythology of the ancient Babylonians, the symbolism of the Jewish tabernacle and temples, and that of modern Mystery Babylon. Each of the planets, ladies and gentlemen, known to the ancients, which was at the same time a god, was represented by a metal and a specific color. The Chaldean temples were of 7 stories, each smaller than the others as they rose. The lowermost chamber was that of Sheb, or Saturn, colored black. The next, that of Marduk, or Jupiter, colored orange. Next, there was a red stage for Nergal, or Mars. Then a middle chamber covered with plates of gold for the sun. Shamash, then the chamber of Ishtar, or Venus, a pale yellow. Then blue for Nebo, or Mercury. And finally, silver for Sin, the moon, which was left unfinished or open at the top as an astronomical observatory. We preserve those colors and symbology on flags and emblems the world over. The Freemasons preserve the colors of the 4 elements in the veils of the Royal Ark chapter. The sun in its 3 phases of rising in the east, at meridian in the south, and setting in the west became Sal-Am-On. Hence the ancient morning greeting of Salam, and the designation of the dying sun god who will rise again as Om-On-Al, or Emmanuel, and the Hebrews turned Salmanusar into Sar Shalom, or Prince of Peace, and played many other strange tricks with the old Kabbalistic lore of the Chaldeans, which is preserved by the Brotherhood even today.